As you can see, we are on the air. Actually, that's just a little sign that my wife got me for my birthday. It's supposed to sit outside my door so that when she comes downstairs, she'll know that I'm recording, but I can't really put it on the door since it needs electrical power. Anyway, it's just a cool little sign. But back to what we're here for. On the bench today, we have a very cool vintage 1960s era turntable. This is a Thorens TD124. It's a Mark 1, so this is really old. I think mid-60s from what I'm gathering. This one, I believe, has an SME arm on it. Yes. And it's just come in for some maintenance. There's nothing wrong with it. It plays perfectly fine. It's just never been serviced, and the owner would just like it gone over and lubricated and all the rest of it. I mean, it could have been serviced at some point in its life, but I've never seen this one before, and I don't believe I've had a 124 on the bench in a very long time. I think I did one many years ago, and I think it was a Mark II, but this is a Mark I, so this is really old. And just to give you an idea, it's got a really nice solid wood case, and the 124 can be mounted in a console style system. This just like a dual. This comes out, and then you can mount it. There's a mounting plate for it, so if you wanted to put it inside one of those old style bar consoles or whatever, you can do that. All the controls are 100% mechanical, like this big speed selector switch here. It's got just that big clunky sound, right? So very cool. 78, 45, 33, and 16 speed as well. There we go. This is actually a pitch control, and it does have a stroboscope light down here. Okay, so just to show you that things are working nicely here. Oh, I left it on 45. So to start this table, the platter is massive. So this part of the platter here actually has a break on the side here. This is just almost like an aluminum cover. This is the platter here, and it is, like I said, it's massive. Weighs a ton and sits in a bearing with oil. There's a lot of lubrication points on the Thorens. I've downloaded the actual, not the service manual, but the owner's manual for it, and it tells you where to do all your lubrication service. So just to give you an idea here, it's gets up to speed fairly quickly for such a huge platter, and it runs very quietly. And you turn it off, so your brake will stop the top, but the bottom is still spinning, so it's like a clutch. So there's no motor power right now, no electricity going through it, but you can see the platter still spinning. So this is how you can clutch it to stop if you got to do something, whatever, or put a record on it. So if you're in 33, so you can clutch this, stop the platter. So let's say you want to change a record or whatever, and then you spin back, turn the clutch back on, and you re-engage it. I don't know how visible it's going to be on the camera here, but if you can keep an eye on the center spindle, you'll see it's still turning. So that's kind of a cool feature. And then turn it off. So this is an interesting design in the fact that it is both a belt drive and an idler drive. So you've got a motor which turns a belt, which turns the idler. So it's super quiet, and that's what it's all about. If you happen to download the manual, it goes into how quiet it is and how it's a good transcription turntable. So lots of interesting information out there on the 124. But we're here to do a service on it. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to remove this. And it has an integrated 45 adapter. You just turn to lock, turn to unlock, and it pops up. So you can put a 45 speed record with the big hole in it. Okay, so now to get this big beast out, you gotta get your fingers under here, and it's massive and sometimes tough to remove. So this thing, although you may say, oh, it doesn't look very big, it weighs just an incredible amount of weight. I don't know what it would be. 7 pounds maybe? I'm just trying to think. Definitely heavy. And here's your inner, this is where the idler runs on the inner part of the platter here. So we'll probably end up cleaning that. Aside for now. And here we are. Here's the guts. So here we are. Motor, belt spins. This is called a stepped pulley. And when you activate, I'm going to unplug this. When you activate the speed, what will happen is there's an arm under here that lifts the idler wheel into certain positions. So this is going to be what, 78, 45, 33, and finally 16. So let's go 78. So this switches down. So that's 0, comes up, clicks, spring locks it against the step pulley. 45, 0, 33, 0, and finally 16. 16's a bit tight. Not that you would ever have any 16-speed records, I'm not sure. You have to look at that. Yeah, 16's a little tight here. Interesting. Okay. Anyway, you're supposed to leave it at 0 when you're servicing it. And the idler wheel comes straight out, and it's just a bearing, which just runs with a light machine oil. This needs to be cleaned. You got to make sure there's no cracks. This one looks to be in really nice condition. So we'll clean that. We'll re-lubricate. Just want to see why this is not... what we'll do is we'll lubricate these bearings as well. Just a little tight. I think it's the spring. 16's never used, right? I don't even know if there are 16 speed records anymore. But we'll give that a little lube just to loosen it up. I'll leave it in the 0 speed. Main bearing pit is right here. Okay, so that is filled with what are they called? ROB oil. We're just going to use a modern equivalent. We're not going to be using what Thorens recommends. This, back in the 60s, oils were a little bit different. So we're going to use modern equivalents. We're going to lubricate the stepped pulley. We're going to check this belt, make sure it's okay, clean it, check the top of the motor here, and just give it a good service. So let's start off with our pulley, with our main bearing first. It's amazing how light this has become since I removed that massive platter. And we're going to clean out that bearing well. And this is a very large bearing well, so we're going to use a very large Q-tip for this. And what we're going to do is we're going to absorb first. Get some of that old lube out of there. Yeah, it's looking a little bit brown. It's looking rather overfilled as well. I think what I'll do is maybe soak up, excuse my head, soak up as much as I can with this paper towel. Just get that in there. Yeah, it's like a car sump almost. It's so filled. It might be overfilled actually. soak up a little bit. Okay, to get this pulley off, you got to remove this little plate. It's just a retainer here. You just remove this screw, or turn it to the side, and then you should be able to get your pulley out no problem. And what we'll do is we'll just take this belt and inspect it. And yeah, it looks okay. It's definitely very shiny on the inside where it's been running. You can see that, hopefully. It's got some shiny spots. So what we're going to do is we're going to reverse it when we put it back, because this side's a little bit less shiny. But we're going to service that. We're just going to service it with a little bit of alcohol. And it mentions it in the, the owner's manual as well, to clean any surfaces with denatured alcohol. And we'll be doing that. So we're just going to run that belt through here and see if we can remove some of that shine. It's still elastic. It's got some good stretchiness going on. So it doesn't need to be replaced. And it's not under a lot of tension here. So yeah, it's a little dirty. Just keep cleaning that. We want our friction to be nice, right? We don't want any greases or oils to get on any of the spots where the belt or the idler wheel touch. Okay, that's good. Got rid of a lot. Yeah, it's already looking quite a bit duller, which is good. Another thing that the manual says, and it's a really good manual, by the way, if you do have one of these, be sure to download it, is that you can put a little bit of talcum powder on the belt if you find it's very greasy, and that helps to remove any oils or greases and gives it a little bit more friction. So there's a little nylon washer there, and it's glued down. But we're gonna clean that well, because I want to remove all the old lubricants before we put some new stuff on. Just clean that off, and then we'll clean our the bushing here on the idler wheel. Just running a Q-tip with some alcohol through it. Just give that a cleaning. Get rid of any old lubricants. Should be good. And just clean the bottom. Just like that. And then we're going to clean our wheel as well. So the only part you have to worry about is the edge. So just give that a cleaning. Let's use the paper towel here. Yeah, see, they start to get dirty. You can clean the whole thing if you want, just to get rid of any dirt on it. And reading through the manual, it said that this should last the life of the turntable. So it's made with a very high quality rubber. So you can see we really took off a lot of shine on the edge, which is good. And that's all clean. This is clean. We're just going to lubricate these bearings here. I think I can see the lower one there. Just exercise that. just leave in the lock position for now. All right, so let's service our other points here. How are we doing with our main bearing? Yeah, we got out a lot of oil. Yeah, there we go. I can see the it's got a nylon and Teflon coated thrust plate. And we're just going to get some alcohol. And we're going to clean this. Excuse my head. That's good. All right. Okay, next, we're just going to clean the positions on the stepped pulley. I know this one doesn't matter, but these do. I just thought I saw a little bit of grease down there. So we're just going to give these a nice clean. There's no oil on them. You can see they're pretty dirty. Another shot. These old tables, you know, they're built like tanks, let's be honest. And their only downfall is the old lubricants that were applied, you know, at the factory. I'm sure they were great in 1964, or whenever this table was made, but just think about it. If it was made, I think the start date for this thing was 1964. So this thing was built when Goldfinger came out at the box office, right? We're talking some serious age here, pushing 60 years. It is 60 years, right? So it's crazy, you know, and here it is, still working in 2024. Just says something about the quality of the manufacturing. Lots of metal too, right? No plastic. Just clean the motor pulley here. Just want to remove any belt gunk or goo that forms. And that's what's coming off. It's mostly just belt residue. That's good. And next, we're going to pull up our step pulley. And same thing, it's got a bearing, bushing, and we're just going to give this a nice cleaning. Just clean off the axle here. Rid of any greases and oils. There's a lot of lubrication points on this turntable to take care of. I'll just go down there with a Q-tip. Oh, that's really tight. I'm going to make this a little smaller. Clean that out. There. And now we can start putting our stuff back. I keep spinning this motor pulley just to see what it feels like, and it feels great. It's got a couple screws that hold it. There are instructions for lubricating as well. Let's see here. I can get a screwdriver in here. Oh, this is a big magnet. One, two. There we go. Yeah, that, I'm glad I removed this. You don't want to lubricate this. This is part of the motor. It needs to be nice and tight. Actually, clean that with a little bit of alcohol. And put a drop of electric motor oil on there. Just a drop will do you. Right in the top bearing. Just like that. And that will soak in. And then we can put our, actually now that we have our motor pulley off, we can just give that a quick clean with a paper towel here. Just make sure we're good and clean. Like that. And we can drop that back down and reattach it. Tighten our two screws. I gotta get my height right. I'm just gonna pause. I have to put a shim under here just to get the pulley's actually sitting down on this metal plate. So I just want to get a little shim under there and get that to the correct height. I'll be right back. So I used a razor blade, hope I can get this out, just to shim the motor pulley up, and I'm still getting a little bit of friction. I need a little bit more. So maybe I'll try a couple blades. I'll be right back. Okay, I got it where I like it. Just hovering above the metal plate here without touching. That's obviously what you want. You want absolutely no friction. That oil has already sunk down. The motor's feeling a little bit better. I mean, it was fine, but I think it's even better. And I'm going to use more of this electric oil for general lubrication, because I'm finding it is an outstanding lubricant. So we're going to put a drop in the well here, and then we're going to drop our stepped pulley back in, and just that one drop is keeping it from going down. So there we go. That's how tight the tolerances are here. And same thing for our idler wheel. Just going to put a drop and a drop there, and let her go down. There's no retaining ring or spring or clip or anything for this. That's the way it is. And look at that baby spin. And then we'll just put our belt back on before I put that on. And we're going to choose a side here. So this side doesn't have a lot of wear. This side does. So we're going to go like this. Actually, this has to come off first. So we get nice access. Just wrap it around there. Wrap around the bottom part of the pulley. And it will get into position. You might need a screwdriver or... There we go. Perfect. And now we can put our retaining, whatever that is, back on. There. Oh, my belt just fell off. Come on, get on there. Kind of hard to do from here. There we go. It'll find its way around. It'll eventually sit in a correct spot. And let's put our under wheel back on, and let's just have a quick test here. There we go. Nice. Very nice. And finally, oh, you know what we didn't do? We didn't clean the back end of the platter. There is a lot of lubricant on this. I'm just going to wipe that first. Just get that cleaning. Just use a rag with alcohol just to wipe all the old grease off, all the old oil. It's a little ball bearing in the bottom there. The manual says to drop 4 to 6 drops of oil. And that's what we're going to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it's going to go around the edge there. I'm also going to put a little bit on the sides here so it doesn't go in dry. And we're just going to gently lower this. Just like that. Beautiful. Okay, let's see. Let's see it spin. And there she goes. How's it holding speed? It's really hard to see this. There we go. That's 33 right there. Very nice. Boy, this thing's stable. Mass creates stability, all right? Very stable. Very nice. So that's our lubrication service. It's not a lot to it. Make sure you get all those important points. There's lots of bearings and bushings in there that need to be cleaned and lubricated. Now, the arm is set up. It's been professionally set up, so I'm not going to touch that. I am going to clean the stylus, though. And this is a nude stylus. It's an Ortofon bronze. a little bit of 70% just to clean off any gunk. I'm just going to give that, it's a little dirty. It's not bad though. A little brushing. I've already checked the arm. It's set up for 1.5 grams. I'm pretty sure that these Ortofon bronze and blacks, I think they run at that exact number. So I'm not going to mess with that. The arm's all set up. So what we'll do now is let me pause. I'm going to hook this all up and we'll do a sound test. So just before we do our sound test here, I've put the Thorens bare-walled arc protractor on here just to check the arm. And one thing I don't like about this SME arm, you have to swing the arm to the right of the clamp. I've never liked that. Nice arm though. So we're just checking for alignment here. And as you can see, we're right on the X's at C1. You probably can't see, but anyway, we're right there. And then when we come to the grid here, we're right on the grid and we're straight. And then we come over to C. It's perfect. So we have the perfect alignment. You can see the arc. So that's the perfect alignment for this Thorens. Okay, let's do a quick little sound test here. Can't play very much, but queuing up. Let me hear you through the heat. Oh. Yeah, so that's really good. Sounds great. It's vibrating, not vibrating. I can hear the motor going through my my bench here, just because I don't have really good isolation here. I'm sure when it's put on a proper stand, one thing I would recommend is make sure you have good feet under the case. Something like sorbethane or something like that will really isolate the table from the stand. So, but other than that, this puppy's done. And just watch this. I'll just show you how the record's spinning. We'll hit that clutch, and so we can change the record. And now the motor's off, right? So if I turn the clutch back on, you can see the motor still spins. I think that's a really cool feature. Anyway, that's it. That's a lubrication service on a Thorens TD124 Mark 1. Like I said, I'm not sure how many times this thing's been serviced in its lifetime. The greases and oils didn't look bad, but the owner's had it for quite a while, and he says it's never been done. So it was due. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. That's a first for me on this channel. I think the 124, done 125s. But yeah, quite the beast. And I think just popped into my head, if I'm not mistaken, I think they are remaking this turntable. I don't know who owns Thorens right now, but they have created this turntable again. And I think it won an award for best looking turntable either last year or the year before. But check that out. Maybe go to their website and see if this is still in production. Anyway, thanks again. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.